Would you introduce yourself briefly? Just name, title.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Enid Barillas, or I go by Enid here. I'm a second generation grocer. My parents started before I was born with one store. I saw all the sacrifice that they went through, especially over the holidays. So I decided to go into engineering. Then moved to Chicago, practice engineering, construction, telecom. And then 20 years ago, they knocked at my door, my parents. So we made the transition 20 years ago, moved back to Puerto Rico, and then expanded. And that's where we are today.
I didn't know all of that.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like your engineering background makes me understand you more.
Go.
Your perspective has always been different.
Oh, yes, yes. I didn't know that it prepared me for this.
Oh, yeah. What was your very first job?
Okay, it was in pipeline construction.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So it was back then Amoco. Now I know it's BP. So I was on their pipeline division. My construction took place in Texas, Oklahoma, that area. Very fortunate because I remember I started on a Monday. On a Tuesday, I was on a flight down to Texas City. Great projects. I was, of course, the little person, little. Next to native Texans there. But it was great. I learned a lot, traveled a lot during that time, and I spent 5 years there.
Wow. Yeah. So I'm in West Texas. I'm about an hour from Midland, Odessa, where they have so much of the,
Oh, yeah. So I was more on the east side.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. You've had quite a career journey. If someone was in their career journey and obviously not where you are, and they were trying to figure out how to kind of progress to the next step or what they wanted to do next, what would your advice to that be?
I think it has to do a lot with living the moment. Of course, now I can really say I'm one of those that back in the days I said, oh, I would never do this, or oh, I would never live in this place. I mean, this is me. I went to college in Maya West, which is like an hour away from where I grew up in Puerto Rico, a small college town. But back then we had the tuna manufacturing plant there and some other manufacturing facilities that it made very interesting, the smells of the town. But not only that, I felt it was a small town for me. So I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe some people do move here and they live here. Well, I did finish college, went to Chicago, the suburbs, went back home, and that's where I'm living. So I think that the fact that even though I wanted to leave where I was at, I enjoyed and made most of it. And in Chicago with the construction, I remember I started a safety newsletter back in the days.
Wow.
Things like that. So we, and I say we, my husband is a big part of me, of course. So we were always looking for how can we be different. Then the opportunity came on the telecom industry. And that's when there was a big boom. And I moved over and I didn't know anything about programming. Nothing. I think I was maybe the only mechanical engineer in all of that building.
Wow.
Back then, the organizations, we added up to 35,000 people. No, it was very huge already. But I learned, I work really hard as far as the hours that I put up with are just because I was coming from a very different industry and I wanted to really be up to date and to learn enough to know what questions to ask me and know how to encourage the people around me. So that first year was crucial. Then the next year I was offered an opportunity as a technical manager with my team in Central America. And it's a great story, actually, that I would like to share because I was expecting. I was 8 months, oh my God, woman, on my fourth baby. And
That's close to the no travel window.
oh, yeah, no, I was on the no travel window, but I didn't know that the position was very demanding and no one wanted it. But so when it was offered, I'm like, oh, yeah. So I showed up. We went through the interview. And of course, I was able to do a very nice interview. But at the end, there was this big elephant on the table, my mouth, right? So I decided to address it. I'm like, well, as you can notice, I'm expecting. And it was a female director. And I told her, I say, I'm okay traveling after my maternity. It's something that as a family we discussed. So you can count me in if I'm the right candidate. She called me maybe like a week later and she's like, yes, take all the time you need. Just come back with your passport. And I'm like, okay. So I did. And it was a great experience.
That's wonderful.
Yes, no, it was great. So overall is at the end of the day, we love what we do as far as working with people, as far as how are we making a difference to the people around us, whether you're in construction, in telecom, in grocery, it is about that. And over time, some people, they know it from the get-go. Some others, it takes a little longer to realize that that's what it is.
So you and I are both members in WGA,
Yes.
right? Speaking of women in grocery problems.
That's correct. Yeah.
Have you been in the booth yet? Have you done any volunteering at the table?
I did last year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this year I couldn't. I'm leaving tomorrow early. So yes, I think as soon as this opens, I'm planning on hitting all the booths and then head out first thing tomorrow.
Yeah, I've been excited about what they're doing. I want to get a little bit more involved this next year, I think. Have you worked on any of the programs with WGA?
Well, I participated on some. Were you in the ones this year? I was not able to go to the one they did in, was it San Antonio?
Yeah, I didn't get to go.
Yes, but I did the previous ones.
Oh, okay.
And yes, it is a great mix of, sometimes it gets into the technical aspect of the business. So there'll be some of us that are very involved with the technical aspect and they will share knowledge, information, and so on. There'll be also, like, for example, if there is one of the members that is in the HR group, they'll bring up also the best practices, what have worked for them. I mean, all these presentations have been so valuable. You really take good information out that you can really apply.
That's one of the things that I've really valued about the little bits of the WGA that I've gotten to benefit from is that everyone's so open and we can actually have conversations about what's happening in the industry and what the challenges are and how we're overcoming that. I found that incredibly beneficial.
Correct. And then, of course, they do touch on that. How is it that we're balancing everything out? We do tend to put a lot more pressure on us because we want everything to work well, right? To be in control and ahead of everything. But being surrounded by other women also and sharing their experiences, have been really, really great.
Yeah. And it's just refreshing to be around so much feminine energy after being surrounded by dudes all day long.
It is. Well, this year I was involved on the selection of the Women of the Year award, and that was a great experience. Sometimes when I reply to those emails, it's kind of too late, and they're like, well, we have a group. But this time I did it, and I was able to work in. And of course, the whole process was great, and to balance everything, the impact to groceries and the impact to the community, which is so important for us independent grocers, and just to see those big resumes, these wonderful women out there. And then at the end, it was really difficult to select one. That was a great experience. So I hope to contribute more in projects like that.
I was incredibly humbled. I reached out to Chelsea, replying to that email. I was like, yeah, I would love to help with this. This sounds fun. I want to help with that. I feel like that would, being able to recognize that what folks, especially women in this industry, are doing. We have to help each other. We have to build each other up.
Yeah, no, there is a lot to share.
Speaking of challenges and overcoming them, what's going on with your business right now? What kind of challenges are you facing? What are new initiatives are you excited about?
As far as challenges is the whole landscape. When I first started, we were only a few players in my area. We do have the big box, Walmarts and Costco, Sam's, and so on. But close to me, it's only maybe Walmart and Sam's. But then we have similar chains like ours, that it's like co-op, independent owners. So I have that competition that wasn't there as it is now 20 years ago. And then we also have small formats, not like the dollar store that we have here, is more like just small supermarkets, and they are very accessible to people. There was one point when I started with the very first store that we were the only ones in 3 towns. Oh, yes. Those, I mean, it was a big headache to keep up and all that, but I realized those are the good headaches to have. But now I have maybe 5 different competitors close by.
Wow.
So it is a big change. The other thing that's happening in Puerto Rico, which I know is happening here too, is the aging of the population and how for us to shift our services for that. So that is a big challenge as well. And then you have e-commerce too. So that is a very costly operation.
Yeah.
I know when we see reports and so on, most are not making it, but it's just something we have to go in. It's part of the business now. So that is another challenge. I only have that in one store, but I do cover 2 towns through that one. So it is very challenging and at the same time give us an opportunity to innovate. So the one thing I did a few years ago, I started with a loyalty program. And I know loyalty, we all know, and it's been out there for a while. But in groceries, I was the first one to do it. And I didn't know what to expect. And, at the beginning, of course, I wanted the customers to sign up and all that, but it was overwhelming. Oh, yes. That was great, but at the same time, it puts a lot of pressure on to start using that information to make it more appealing to them more than $1 for whatever points, right?
Right.
So that's one thing that I've looked forward to work on more and more. Right now, we have about 50,000 customers on our loyalty program, and these are very small towns.
Yeah, that's incredible for you guys.
So yes, so we did all this push and our front end and all that. We measure engagement and so on, and now I'm like, oh my God, I have all this data. What are we gonna do? What? So now we're starting to partner with other companies more on the tech side to really use that. So I hope that brings up another differentiation to be of preference to the customer. The other thing that I started, and I'm sure you've heard, is the Healthy Pack Market, the wellness program. And I started really because I believe in that personally. I also see it as value for our employees and also like loyalty. I was not expecting it to be as big as it is. We are on our 7th year. The assortment that we have in our store have served suppliers. They come to the store and they see what we have new and then they start bringing in. So that's great to see. It pushes us to really stay ahead of the curves. I do look up a lot to Spins, Megan, all her reports, information, and I apply it there. But also, I think what we did different is that the retail dietitian is really involved on picking up these products. She's the one traveling and identifying them. She's keeping up with all the trends and so on. She is involved with the pricing. So she's involved with the promos and all of that.
She has to be involved for that to be successful. That's huge kudos that you're doing it that way.
Yeah, it helps a lot. And I'm glad that not only suppliers are noticing that, but brands. As recent as a couple of weeks ago, we sat down with the brand and they were really open to hear from her, the feedback and so on. So first you get into fiber, you get into sugars added and so on. So we have helped some brands already change their nutritional panel so they could appeal to some of these preferences.
They get included.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. At the end, they want to be recommended by the
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that.
What an impact.
It is. And this was the 5th Healthy You Challenge that we do. And that's, of course, is every January. No surprise there.
Yeah.
But this year we ended up with a 5K, which was yesterday. So I missed it, but I saw the pictures and they had a blast. 4 weeks, as you would expect, we have a weight station weekly on each store. And of course, you go into your percent of fat, of muscle, and all that, but you go into this metabolic age, right? And that's always a blast. So you can see the competition. But we have people that they have a goal of losing weight and they do. And over the years, you see the difference. We have also pre-diabetic or people already on some sort of insulin and drugs to control the sugar levels. And they are taking out of medication and they can keep up. That is great. And also to have the business side of it into it with a retail dietitian, it makes it great.
Do the employees get really pumped for this?
Yes, 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 yes.
I've got retention and recruiting on the mind, right, from all the panels this morning. And I was just thinking that's got to be incredible for your culture and for the loyalty among your employees.
Yes, yes. It is like all of any new program. The ones that have been there the longest are the late, right, adapters, if we want to say. But now it's across newer ones and the ones that have been there for a long time. And yes, as you mentioned, during the recruitment process, it is brought up. And a lot of them are like, oh, no, we didn't know about that. So that's something that I hope that it continues making a difference. The other thing that we have done recently is really getting more into the safety aspect of employee safety and the quality as far as the product of it, food safety as well. So we started, this was maybe right with COVID. I started very aggressively to work on audits, internal audits, and using technology with the tools like iAuditor for all the checklists, temperatures and things like that. That has given us a lot of positive changes when it comes to safety in the workplace. And we have been recognized for the last 3 years of being on the top of our co-op, the top quality stores. So
Congratulations.
we are on the running right now for one of the stores. It started as a bronze medal, then gold. But it is something that, of course, is the right thing to do. But at the same time, it gives an opportunity for employees to work together.
Yeah.
And when they bring issues like, hey, stay wet, so how can we make sure that no one slips? And things like that, it really makes a difference on employee engagement and so on. So let's see if I have something to share next time about one of the other stores was received the silver recognition and the bronze recognition the other year. Let's see if this year the 3 of them get there.
When you were in Chicago doing engineering things, did you ever think you'd be this excited about the day-to-day operations in grocery?
No, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah?
No, I was really excited in construction. I was really excited. I'm super excited here. But I have to admit that this is not what it was me growing up as far as grocery.
A whole different world.
No, it is a different. And then as I tell my groups, we knew we were essential. Of course, it is about food. But now with COVID, it's clear we're very, very essential. We do have to take care of our businesses, especially if they are the only one in that area. All of that, that's how it works. So no, I'm not surprised, but I'm just glad that it's flashy, if we want to call it as it is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, as far as foodie, it's like, oh my God.
A few months ago, I did a webinar talking about basically employer branding in grocery. And I think that as an industry, we've done a terrible job of explaining that working in a grocery store is not your last option.
I know.
It's a great option, and here's why, and laying that out. As an industry, we've failed at that, at communicating to the public why it's a fulfilling career. We know because we're in it. And so I think that I don't know how we fix that.
Okay, I have idea.
You know.
Yes. Okay, this example is like perfect. So I moved back to Puerto Rico. I graduated from the college that is in the town that I'm living now, University of Puerto Rico in Maya West. I started working, and the first time that came over to recruiting, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to the university, right? So I went over. I'm like, okay, I know you have job fair. Actually, they have one of the best job fairs in the nation. Really? Yeah. Specifically for engineers, it's still amazing. You could get like 300 companies there. Actually, it's happening this week. Oh, that's why I'm flying back early, because the other one that is big is the business department. they have also a very nice job fair too. So I went over to the business department, right onto the placement office, and okay, I'm here. I graduated from here. I'm looking for two, maybe one in accounting, one in marketing. And they'll be like, for what? I'm like, well, I work in a company. We have one store because at that moment we have one store and saying, well, okay, we'll get back to you. And I graduated from there. But one thing I have learned is you have to be persistent. When you believe in something, you cannot give up. So the next year I will come again. And so on and so on until they started realizing, yes, this is a company. We need HR, we need accounting, we need marketing. You need management, projects. And it got to the point now that I have an internship program for food science department. Very cool. Most of my team graduated from there in accounting, HR, and from other local universities as well. So that has helped a lot, but it takes time. It takes time. It takes investment because there was one time that we participated in the job fair and, I remember what happened. There was some management issues of the university and they had to move the job fairs because there's the big job fair and then there is the business school job fair, which is a little smaller, a lot smaller and a lot more affordable to us. So we went for the business one, and because of some management issues in the school, they had to close it and they move it. Everyone co-located. We get into this hotel, and I'm here with my little table, and here is NASA. Here is I don't know who else.
I know that feeling. You know that feeling.
And we're like, okay, well, I guess we're in. And actually, the big surprise was that people will, both engineers, of course, and from other fields, they'll be like, wow, Econo, a local company. And that's how it all started,
And you latch onto that and you go, oh, that's the first thing that matters.
Company. Yeah. Yes. And sometimes we're still the only ones. So not only I keep doing that, but also I went to the central office, to the co-op Econo central office and say, hey, we have something great here. And it was similar. At the beginning, if you didn't go to that school or if you didn't go to those job fairs, you wouldn't appreciate how big they are. But over time, again, I cannot give up. So I think that there are things we can do individually that will help the overall. To me, I have to be also like a learning center. Well, all these co-op programs and internship programs, I love them. And you do have to prepare for them. But the one thing we started doing was working with the nutrition the schools. So we started getting from one school. Then we started working with the Department of Health of Puerto Rico for their internship, and they come through our stores. And then this last year, we were able to get the other universities. So now all of them, most of them, they come through our store.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
They're all the way up the chain. They need that. They need that real world experience. They don't big match.
They do. And now most of them know of us, but still we get a lot of them that they're like, oh my God, we didn't know this existed. And of course we do get why are others not doing it. But I'm like, well, it just takes time. And this last year, we also did an official certification for retail dietitians in Puerto Rico. Again, when you said about excitement is if it isn't, make it. If it isn't exciting, just make it.
Well, I think this stuff is exciting. You think this stuff is exciting.
This year, we started also a survey. We work with a consultant for employee engagement. It gave us a good pointers of what we need to work more and more because at the end, they are our best promoters. They would be the people that work with us.
I had never understood the impact of asking employees for their feedback, which sounds ridiculous with my background. But there's so many organizations that ask for the feedback and then don't do anything with it. And a couple of years ago, we actually acquired a survey company.
Oh, there you go.
And so we do assessments, 360-degree feedback.
Oh, wow.
And 180s and quarterlies and 30, 60, 90-day new hire check-ins, all the things, right? And it was a crash course for me to recognize that you don't have to ask them 20 questions.
Correct.
You can ask them one question that is actionable. And so now I'm preaching surveys, which I never thought I would. Oh yeah, just ask them. Just ask them.
Yeah. I think in the industry, I was the first one to jump into one of these surveys. So we develop a theme for the year based on the survey. We, of course, have teachers and all that. Even though, again, we're very small, I really would be hard to afford giving them the t-shirts. So we said, okay, let's split, make it very affordable. And of course, most of them, they got it. I know the more they see that we're really committed to take action on it, the more they're going to feel how valuable they are, because they are.
And that's exactly, you've got to make that action visible.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Show them that you heard them.
Yes. So the best approach is little steps at the time, but consistent. That's what's about. And you hear me say a lot, time flies. So, okay, so there's something you want to do, and right now you're not doing it. Well, just start once a quarter. I don't know, once a month.
What's that very first
need once? Then eventually, okay, if it was that good, then every other week. But just keep doing it. And before you know it, you have it already in the process with the right tools and all that, and it's flowing automatically.
Well, if someone wanted to keep up with some of your new initiatives and how they're going and know the news with you and your organization,
I think that would be the best way.
thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, and have a great show.